Good morning, guys, and happy new moon. It's a new moon in Pisces. Remember, new moons are for welcoming in things, being open minded, open hearted, and vulnerable. Be open to new opportunities, be open to new relationships, both platonic or romantic. Um, Even things like new skills and new hobbies and stuff like that. Be open to things. Welcome in new habits, new thought patterns. For today's collective, so from now on, I'm only going to be posting collective readings on full moons and new moons. Also, I may do ones here and there on different astrological days or something, but right now, just for my own sanity and mental peace and my own energy, I can't be doing them every day. So y'all just stay tuned on full moons and new moons. The first card we have is the Star card, and if I'm not wrong, that card is representative of intuition and becoming comfortable with your intuition, but I may be wrong. Okay. It's for spiritual regeneration through deep healing and transmutation of the original wound and the renewal of one's life force. So this one, you may have been, in the past, you may have gone through a lot of traumas or obstacles, or you may have just been wounded in different ways, whether it be physical, mental, spiritual. But right now you're going through a phase of healing your past wounds and traumas. You're going through a phase of kind of releasing them and coming to peace with them and forgiving yourself and the others in the situations and letting them go for good. It also represents the renewal of one's life force, so you may feel in this period of time like you're almost coming back to life. So maybe for the past, it could be the past 2 years, it could be the past 20 years, it could be the past 2 weeks. For some point of the past, you've been in some kind of phase of being wounded, being hurt, whatever the situation may be, and you may have fallen into some kind of rut or funk where you kind of just felt like, why am I here? What's the point of me being here? What am I here to do? What's my purpose in life? Am I meant to be here to feel this? Am I meant to be here to suffer? You may have been just going through a really dark and confusing phase or place that you were stuck in, but now you're in a phase of coming out of that. You're in a phase of healing and seeing the situations for what they were, whatever they may have been, and you're in a place where you're ready to forgive and release and move forward, and that's a really good place to be. The Star card also represents understanding and healing understanding and healing the pain of others. But to do so, we must first understand and heal our own pain. So, this phase of time that you're in right now, Onyx, come here, Mama. This phase of time that you may be in right now, you may be learning your empathy. You may be learning empathy and learning about empathy. And learning that, yes, it's okay for you to be hurt and for you to need sympathy or understanding or connection in a sense to heal. But you're also learning that every other human on this planet deserves the same and needs the same in one way or another. Get down. And with learning that and accepting that, you really can heal your past wounds and traumas and what people have done to you, because you're really learning that people are just hurting. We're all just walking and we're all just hurting and we're all just walking each other home at the end of the day. Girl, you better get away from the cards. You're not eating them. Go lay down. The next card that we have is the Ace of Pentacles. And with the Ace of Pentacles, it represents, so an ace of any suit always represents hope and new beginnings, new things coming, fresh starts, things like that. But with the Ace of Pentacles, Pentacles is representative of, I may be wrong. I was going to say Earth, but that may be wrong, so don't quote me. Let me check. right. It is the element of earth. So the suit of pentacles is associated with the element of earth. It is practical, down to earth, and correlates with issues related to money, property, the environment, career, security, generosity, and the material world. The spiritual aspect of the suit calls on us to count on our numerous blessings that the earth so abundantly provides. And remember that abundance is not only in the form of money. Like, there are several forms of abundance in life. And astrologically, pentacles are linked to the earth signs, which are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. In Ace of Pentacles, the card Ace of Pentacles, it represents the beginning of material gain and successful ventures. So with you going through a time of healing and releasing the old, releasing things that really just aren't serving you anymore. Like, there's no reason to keep holding on to it. There's no reason to keep looking back at it, to keep going over it, to keep running through it. It's time to let go of it. With Ace of Pentacles, with this healing, you could be in a time of where you may be getting a promotion. You may be advancing in your career. You could be changing your career. You could go down a different path, something that you're called to do instead of something that you've been doing for a while. You may be tired of something. You're going to get into a phase of abundance. And like I said, abundance is not only money. Abundance comes in many forms, as well as love and happiness, peace, bliss. It's not always money or material possessions, but it can very well be. It can be all of it in one. You're going to walk into a time of things are going to be coming to you. You may be very successful compared to how you've been feeling. You may have been feeling like you haven't been succeeding in anything that you've been putting your energy into. You may have been feeling like it's kind of just been stuck in place, like a rut or something, but now you're walking into this time period where you have like a different mindset. You have a different level of energy at this time. Like, your energy is coming back to you. You're filling your cup is being filled. You're releasing what no longer serves you. You're letting go of things that hurt you in the past as they no longer serve you. You found the lesson in them and you're ready to heal, forgive, and move forward. With the Ace of Pentacles, it could also mean that you may take ideas and put them into action. That could also lead to success and abundance. The next card that we drew is the Nine of Wands. Girls, no fighting. And the Nine of Wands represents victory through courage and endurance, which means you are going to succeed. You are in a phase of life where you are about to just succeed, and you are going to enjoy this phase. You're going to enjoy the feeling of having like your fire burning again inside of you, where like you have passion for life again, you have passion for happiness again, you have passion for yourself again. With the Nine of Wands, it's just a reminder that you need to make sure you're disciplining yourself. You need to make sure you're being consistent, and that if you're committing to something, make sure you commit to it for the long term and the bigger picture. And if you are consistent and disciplined, and if you do tune into like your courage and your endurance and your resilience, you will succeed. You will make it through. You will build something beautiful for yourself, no matter what it may be. The next card that we have is the Knight of Wands. Girls, I promise they are not actually fighting. They just growl at each other while they wrestle. Okay. The Knight of Wands represents one to enjoy adventure and action but remains uncommitted. With this card coming in, this could represent an energy inside of you, or this could represent an energy around you. This could represent a partner, an acquaintance, a family member that you're close to, so be careful with this. If this does represent you, if you like adventure and like action and going on adventures and doing things, but you find yourself always chasing the next adventure, where like you're constantly just never happy, you're never fully committed to one thing, where like you have to constantly just have that like stimulation of chasing something in a sense. If that energy is you, you need to be careful with it. The energy's not bad. It's great to have confidence. It's great to be like, oh, like, you know what? Let me go do this. It's good to have the confidence to go try new things, to go on different adventures, and to get out, put yourself out there and just do it. It's good to have that. But it's also good to have balance of discipline when, if there is something you need to be committed to hold yourself accountable and hold yourself responsible, and don't get addicted to running from your inner work and what really matters. Don't get addicted to constantly being on the run and chasing something else when you have what you want right here, and you need to make sure that you're staying true to your commitment to it. So if that energy does represent you, it's upright, it's not in reverse, so it's just a reminder to kind of just keep an eye out and make sure you're keeping that energy balanced. It's okay to be adventurous, it's okay to be confident in yourself, it's okay to be fearless when you have opportunities or chances in front of you and to take them. But just be careful not to get lost in maybe chasing other things for happiness when you have happiness right in front of you that you once prayed for, if that makes sense. And if the energy is someone else in your life, if it's a friend or a coworker, a partner or a family member, anyone that you spend a lot of time with or that you are connected to or that you feel yourself like drawn to, or you kind of run off of each other's energy, you need to be careful in that relationship or connection if someone else has that energy, because who you hang around and who you spend all of your time with is who you usually become. Like, you tend to take on the traits of those around you. We all do. It's as human beings. It's normal. So just be aware of the energy. Not that it's a bad thing. It's a good thing to have at times, especially if you use it correctly. So just be aware of it. The next card we have is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is representative of intuition. You may be feeling very highly intuitive lately, and that is a beautiful thing. Intuition is something that you should cherish and protect and really learn to trust and use in a healthy manner to lead you in your own life. Intuition is basically when your mind and your body and your spirit are telling you, hey, this is what this situation is. Like, you just have that inner feeling where you're like, okay, I feel like this is what's going on in this situation, and this isn't for me or what I want, so let me keep moving. Intuition is a beautiful thing, but you have to learn to trust it. A lot of people are scared of their intuition, or they will have intuitive thoughts or feelings, and then it scares them because maybe it's not something that they're prepared to accept yet, or maybe it's not something that they want to hear yet, or that they're ready to see or know, in a sense. So a lot of people suppress and block out their intuition. But for whatever collective this is, you're in a phase of really tuning into your intuition, and you're kind of feeling more confident in it, and that's a really good thing. That's an amazing thing. The next card that we have is the Devil card. This card, I usually, personally, with the way that I read my readings, I see this card connected in a way to vices and substances, maybe abusive substances. It could be alcohol, it could be marijuana, it could be any other drug that you can think of. This card isn't necessarily saying that you have an addiction, but it's kind of a reminder that we always have like a devil on our shoulder and an angel on our shoulder. And sometimes people get obsessed with the devil side because it gives them like adrenaline and gives them like a rush to go, I don't know, do things they shouldn't be doing, in a sense. Like, it makes them feel alive. This is kind of a reminder to change your perspective, in a sense, and look at your life and where you are in a whole. Look at the bigger picture and make sure you're not letting this devil control your choices and where you're going. Make sure that you're not being too egotistical. Make sure that you're really thinking about the good of all and not just being selfish about yourself. And if there are substances involved, I'm getting the energy that there are substances involved with this collective. Like I said, it could be anything, and it could not be like a major addiction. It could be weekly drinks. It could be you smoke marijuana, but you've never touched another drug in your life. But it can still, everything has like a negative side effect if you're not being conscious and intentional and present in your use of the substances. As for alcohol and hard drugs, they really have no benefit. So if you are using them in any way, even if you're using it in a way that makes you feel like it's doing good for you, it's really not. Especially alcohol. Alcohol is such a common thing in society, and it's just accepted to turn to alcohol to get some relief. But remember that relief is temporary, and it's also not real, because alcohol just suppresses what we're feeling and suppresses like what's trying to come up and be felt with and dealt with. Alcohol naturally suppresses that and makes it go away. But when you suppress those feelings instead of feel them, they're not being felt and released. They're being suppressed. They're being held in like in a container. And eventually it's going to fill up and it's going to overflow. And also suppressing your feelings and situations that you should actually be taking in and dealing with, it can manifest as disease and illness, whether in the present moment or later on down the road. And that can represent itself as blood pressure. It can start off small and then it can lead to cancer or other autoimmune diseases just from trauma and things that you haven't really felt and released, like you kind of just push them down and ignore them and avoid them. So, and then again, like, hard drugs, they do the same thing. Now, as for marijuana, marijuana is a very controversial thing in my opinion, because it can have medical purposes. It can be very beneficial both mentally and physically when used correctly. But marijuana scientifically has been proven that it is a depressant and it is addictive. It's not addictive in a sense where when you get addicted to it, like it's going to kill you. Basically, like it's not like meth or heroin, stuff like that. But it is good to see it as for what it is. It isn't necessarily a drug. Maybe not in the same pretense as harder drugs, but it is a vice. It is a substance. It does change your mind. It changes your mindset. It changes the functioning of your mind when it is in your system. So just keep an eye out for any substances you use. Really be honest with yourself and hold yourself accountable and responsible as to what you're using and why you use it. Just be honest with yourself. Like, why do you use what you use, or why do you do the things that you do? What relief does it give you? What feeling does it give you? What do you find in it that pleases you? And maybe think about letting go of some things. Think about making healthier boundaries for yourself with whatever devil's on your shoulder. Think about healthier habits. Think about maybe, it can also be representative of a sign that you need to look into sobriety. Sobriety is a beautiful thing, and it could mean anything. You could sober up from alcohol, you could sober up from drugs, you could sober up from marijuana, you could sober up from alcohol or hard drugs, but you could use marijuana medically. Everybody's different. We are all on our own unique path, so take what resonates with you. Try not to think too much into it. Be kind to yourself, give yourself grace, and just remember to look at the bigger picture of yourself and your life, the choices you're making, the habits you have, the patterns you continue, and things that you see that aren't necessarily serving your higher self or serving your growth. You have the power to make a different choice or to change a habit that needs to be changed to keep you on a path of growing and evolving and going and growing into who you're meant to be in this life. So don't be afraid to hold yourself accountable. The next card we have is the Death card, which is representative of an awakening. So right now you are probably going through a time of shedding an old skin. You are shedding, it may feel like you have this bodysuit on of who you used to be, who everyone used to see you as, who everyone may know you as or used to know you as, and you're going through a time of shedding that skin and just saying like, hey, maybe that's who I was in the past, that's what I correlated with in the past, but now in this present moment, no, like I am meant to be something better and I want to do it. So you may be going through a phase of shedding that skin, and sobering up could be part of shedding that skin, or just not even if you don't go completely sober, but just seeing yourself for who you are right now, the choices you make, and what you're consciously choosing to do and who you're consciously choosing to be. This time of awakening is a time to really address anything that you can change to grow. It is your responsibility. And with it being a time of getting out of, things that used to hurt you, like a time of forgiveness and a time of healing and moving forward, you're in a really great position in your life to grow and do the work right now, the inner work to make yourself better and become better for you and those in your life. The next card we have is the Lover's card. This card does not necessarily represent romantic love. It can, but it does not most of the time. This one usually represents that you need some self-love right now. You really need to make sure that you are showing up for yourself, filling your own cup, and make sure you're showing up for yourself before you show up for anybody else, and make sure you're filling your own cup before you're filling other people's cups, because it's self-sabotage. No one is making you do those things. You're choosing to do those things. Even if you're doing movement. Like the Nine of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles, you're in a time of success and material gain. You're in a time of victory and using your courage and your confidence and doing what needs to be done to really push yourself and become a better person or better version of yourself. The Eight of Wands is just a sign that this is a time of, there's a lot of movement going on. You may feel like you're constantly going and like you have the energy to keep going, but you don't understand. Hey, you girls, calm it down. You may feel like you have all this energy to keep going and keep pushing yourself, but then you also are kind of like, you don't know where you're going in a sense. You really just need to have faith and have some trust in whatever path you're on right now. Try to stay grounded and again, take care of yourself. That will help you a lot, especially mentally. Eight of Cups is our next card. With the Eight of Cups, you girlies need to calm yourselves down. With the Eight of Cups, it represents leaving known success behind in search of greater meaning. So this card, with the Ace of Pentacles representing, you know, success and material gain, and the Nine of Wands with courage and everything, like you're coming into a phase of victory and chasing after what you deserve in this life and kind of really just getting it because you deserve it. The Eight of Cups may be representing, you may be leaving something behind, maybe a lifestyle or a career or something you used to just be committed to, whether it was your career or a lifestyle, who you were, anything. You're shedding something and you're coming into a time period where you're like, okay, who I was back then worked for me. Like it kept me alive. It kept food on my table. It kept, you know, my kids alive, whatever the case may be. You're in a position where you're wanting to leave that behind. You're kind of wanting to maybe chase something else. You're not content with where you used to be, or you weren't happy with where you used to be. You were kind of just like in a rut or frozen in a sense, it felt like. That's okay, and that's completely normal to feel that way. Right now, it's like the Eight of Cups with learning how success or leaving success behind in search of greater meaning. You're just coming to a point where it's like, okay, whatever I was doing, maybe it did keep me afloat and above water, but I wasn't happy, and you were depressed, or like you felt like you were suppressed in a way, or oppressed, and you really just want to find your true self and what makes your soul truly happy. Like you want to have true peace and happiness in this life, so you're choosing to kind of let go of some things to give other things a chance, to see if there's another path that's good for you or that you're really called to do in this life. And that's amazing. You have every right to do that, and it's a beautiful thing to have the courage to do that, so keep that in mind. The next card that we have is the King of Swords. I cannot off the top of my head remember the King of Swords, so give me a minute. With the King of Swords, it represents the power of the mind to penetrate into the truth of the matter. So this energy represents, again, this energy could represent someone in yourself, or it could represent someone around you that you are connected to, a coworker, a family member, a friend, an acquaintance, anything. This energy is actually a very healthy energy when it is balanced and used correctly. It represents logic and reason and being able to basically emotionally detach in high stress times, or times of high pressure, or times of needing to make quick, intelligent decisions for the good of you or the good of all. This is a good energy to have. It could represent you. It could represent someone around you. If it represents you, great. You need to protect this and take care of this. This could also tie back to making better decisions about like the devil on your shoulder. Like, what do you give into? Like, what do you do that you could cut out that could lead to a healthier lifestyle? The King of Swords could also be someone around you. This could be a great friend to have, someone who is very reasonable and logical and kind of helps you stay grounded, or helps you kind of see things objectively rather than emotionally. So if that is someone around you, that could be someone that you could benefit from learning from, or leaning on, or confiding in maybe for some advice, or it could just represent yourself. And if it is yourself, you need to protect that energy. The next card we have is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords represents theft and sneaking around, deceiving or being deceived. So this card can represent literal theft of physical possessions, whether you have stolen things from people or you've been stolen from. And it can also represent theft in a mental manner, where that could mean plagiarism or trying to steal the energy of others, or like feed off the energy of somebody and become who they are instead of doing your own work in a sense. This can represent both theft and just being sneaky and trying to deceive somebody, trying to confuse somebody, just not being honest. It represents dishonor and strategy, running away, which could also mean that you do have a strategy. This could also be tied to the devil on your shoulder and choices you've been making. You could be going through a huge awakening right now of seeing yourself for who you are and the choices you've made, and understanding that it's on you to get out of those habits. I'm getting the energy that this does represent the person of the collective, but this could also represent someone around you stealing from you or plagiarizing you. So keep that in mind. This can represent either yourself or somebody else. So really look at the bigger picture. Look at yourself with honesty and clarity, and really ask yourself, like, are you being deceived, or are you deceiving other people? Like, do you have a strategy in your mind with the choices you make? Like, you only make choices that make you look good, even if you know that it hurts other people. Like, are you selfish with what you do? Are you selfish with what you choose to do? Are you intentionally choosing to do things to hurt other people because it makes you feel better? Really look at the bigger picture and be honest with yourself, because it's on you to correct those. It also asks, are you sneaking away with something that is not yours? Are you trying to cover your tracks? Are you afraid to face your music? If you are the deceiver, consider whether the consequences are worth the actions. Perhaps you are burdening yourself with problems you don't really need by engaging in actions that perpetuate suffering and don't really solve anything. So this, I'm really getting the energy, this ties to like the Devil card and the Death card, where you're going through an awakening and a time of healing and forgiving and releasing. You may have been in a time period of your life where you have consciously chosen to take part in things that literally don't serve the good of anybody. They literally only cause harm and hurt people. And you may have gone through a phase, or you may be going through a phase of it, or you may be coming out of it, who knows, of deceiving people and using a strategy to try to have like your public image, like to just, you worry about your image and you want to look so cool and so good, but secretly like you are just not a good person. Like you don't make good choices. You cause trouble in your life when you could have peace and happiness and not be partaking in trouble, but yet you choose to partake in it, which causes you to attract all the trouble that you have right now. Like you're basically being forced to look in the mirror right now and just say like, whoa, everything going on, I try to blame everybody, but it's been me the whole time. Like that's what that card represents. And with the Devil card in this reading as well, if there are substances involved, it could be a time where it may be a time to let go of a substance, maybe sober up and try to get sober, try to adapt to healthier lifestyle and healthier choices. We also have the Justice card, which means this is a time of justice. Divine justice always prevails. This could mean that there could be legal accountability coming in for you or for anyone around you. You never know. If you're being deceived, this could represent people around you being held accountable for what they've been doing to you or behind your back that you may not be aware of. If you're the one deceiving, this could represent you being held accountable, because no one can escape karma. Like karma comes to everyone. Karma, whatever you put into the world, will come back to you when it is your time to receive it. It's that simple. So whatever justice is happening right now, whatever side you are on, just make sure you're being honest and you're being truthful. Make sure that you're choosing to be confident and choosing to show up and face your music and face your discipline and face the repercussions and the consequences of the choices you've made, because that's truly the only way to move forward and to heal and to grow. is to accept who you've been, what you've done, and to make the changes that need to be made. The next card we have is the Four of Swords. If I'm not wrong, this one represents, okay, so Four of Swords is a solitary time of rest after struggle. You may have been struggling for a while here lately with different things, or just the past you've been struggling with just happiness, your mental health, like your physical health maybe, who knows. You may have just been feeling like in a rut or in a funk or something. This represents a time of like you're really needing to let yourself slow down and rest. Rest is productive. A lot of people don't believe that, but it is. You can't keep showing up and going if you're not taking care of your body. You're just going to run yourself into the ground. You're just going to end up getting sick or having issues when you really do need to choose to take care of yourself. Like, rest is very important, and it's actually very healthy to have healthy cycles of rest and replenishment, and then showing up in like action and putting the energy into work towards something. So maybe look at some balance to help yourself get the rest that you need. And even if you are the person being held accountable for some theft or deceiving, maybe you haven't been a very good person, or maybe you're ready to let go of who you've been, you still deserve rest, and rest is still productive for you, especially if you're going to be making major changes in your life around your career or around your habits and who you've been making changes on to become who you want to be. You need that rest more than ever. You still need to show up and do the work that you need to do, both inner and in the outer world, like the material world, but you also need to remember that you need the rest, because coming face to face with yourself, with who you've been, especially if it's things you've been avoiding facing, or a side of you that you've never wanted to accept was there, it can be very hard and very humbling to accept that about yourself. And you need to allow yourself the time to rest and to just let yourself recharge or replenish and take things day by day and in your own time, what works best for you, not for anyone around you. The next card that we have is the Three of Wands, and it is actually in reverse. So the Three of Wands in reverse represents delay, disappointment, hurdles, and lack of direction. So you are in a time period right now of healing and transmutation and becoming your best, like who you're meant to be. And it is a time of like material gain and success and victory, and having like the confidence you need to do what you need to do, and being willing to go out and take action to do what you need to do. And you have that intuition there. But for some reason, like, the devil is taking over the situation. So like your true, like your intuitive self, who you're meant to be in this moment, is you're meant to heal, you're meant to grow past, and you're meant to tune into like all this abundance that's trying to come into you. But the devil has been in your life a little too long. Maybe you've been choosing the devil a little too much, and now some consequences are coming to you, and that's what's happening. So you're in a phase where you could be like material gain and victory and success and moving forward in life, but the choices you've made with the devil in the past, you're facing those consequences right now as well, and it could be making this really hard to deal with and to navigate. As well as the awakening card, this could be part of your awakening, is realizing that you are in a time where you do deserve all the good coming to you, but you're also responsible for the consequences of what you've chosen to do, any choices you've made in your life at all in the past. And if you are the person who's been in the past, you know, thieving, stealing, hey, y'all calm down. And, you know, if you've had a strategy to hurt people and confuse people or manipulate people, and you've been selfish, or you have done things that shouldn't have been done out of your own selfish wants and needs for yourself, this awakening right now has a lot to do with you facing who you've been. It's okay to heal and forgive yourself and release that side of yourself and shed that skin and learn who you are and who you're meant to be in this moment. But also, you have to understand that you are still responsible for correcting your wrongs. You're still responsible for the consequences of what you've chosen to do. So keep that in mind. And that's why you're needing a lot of self-love right now. In this moment, like, even though this is a time for you to be abundant and for you to have your success and for you to be confident in who you are, you also have to come to terms with who you've been. You have to accept the choices you chose to make consciously and in the past, present moments, and forgive yourself for that, but also take accountability and do what you need to try to correct wrongs that you've made and to hold yourself accountable the way you deserve to be held accountable. But remember to give yourself love and grace. Remember to show up for yourself. Fill your own cup whenever necessary. Take care of yourself. Rest. Let yourself rest. Rest is productive. There's a lot of energy of movement. This is not a time to get stuck in the rut. This is a time to really just take accountability. Take accountability. Just stand up and realize where you are, realize who you've been, accept it for what it is, and accept that there is still energy to keep moving forward, because you have to keep moving forward. And the only option that you have is to move forward, and you can choose to move forward and be better than you've been. And that is beauty in itself. You have the opportunity, you have every right to become better than who you've been in the past. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself. Of course, the Eight of Cups with like you may be leaving known success behind. Whatever you used to choose in the past that used to make you happy, if it's not working for you, or if you're really just burnt out with it and it's not for you anymore, you have every right to say, hey, this is what I want to do, this isn't what I want in my life, let me try something new. You have every right to do that. That's a beautiful thing to do, so keep that in mind. With the King of Swords, that represents being reasonable and logical. It could represent you or someone in your life who keeps you reasonable and logical. If it's someone in your life that has that energy, you need to be grateful for them, and you really need to show some true appreciation if they are in your corner and if they help you stay above water, or if they help you in a sense kind of lead you in the correct direction, even if you don't deserve their help. Or if that energy is yourself, you need to protect that energy in yourself, and you need to be able to hold yourself accountable for everything that you're doing and be who you want to be, who you want to show up. Like, you choose who you are. No one else controls that. The Seven of Swords, the Justice card, there is some definite justice happening. Whether it is you may be receiving some karma for past choices in your life. You could have been deceptive and manipulative to somebody to get what you wanted and to kind of get the upper hand and to feed your own ego in a sense. And right now you're really facing the music and you're facing your own karma, and it's really hard. It is a struggle. That's okay. It's okay to kind of be like, damn, it's okay to be disappointed in yourself. And with the Three of Wands in reverse, it represents being disappointed. You have a lack of direction maybe, or you feel like whatever direction you're going in, or even if you know like the direction that you want to move in, you may feel like you're just like not having the energy for that, and it may be representative of you kind of having like a victim mindset where you're kind of like, oh, poor me, but it's like you put yourself in this position. You made your choices, you were who you were, you have a choice to be who you want to be now. So you need to take responsibility, try to get out of that mindset. You may be having hurdles and delays coming to you, which could just be obstacles that are testing your patience and your peace. You need to try to change your perspective on those. Whenever you have obstacles or situations that come up that seem stressful or that really maybe make you feel like you're being held back in a sense, or maybe you feel like things just keep coming, like every corner you turn is just one thing after another, you need to change your perspective. You need to find the lesson in each obstacle or hurdle that comes to you. You need to look at it as the bigger picture, look at it objectively, and see what you can learn from the position you're in. See what you can learn from what's happening. See how you can better handle it. See how you can better address the situations that come up in life. Because it's a cycle of life. We're always going to have obstacles and hurdles. We're always going to have times of happiness and then times of being down in the ruts and feeling like we have no idea what we're doing or where we are. It's a part of life. You just have to work on your perspective and your energy towards it. The next card we have is Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords is in reverse. The Three of Swords represents heartache, grief. It could represent like losing a loved one physically, or just losing a loved one as in like someone you loved that you now parted ways with. Or it could just be grief, heartache, maybe some regret in a sense. But with it being in reverse, it represents reconciliation, apologies, and course correction. So you may have been in a phase lately where you've felt hurt, or you've been feeling grief or pain or sadness from things that you've been going through, or things that done to you, or choices people have made that have affected you not in the way that you want them to, or they've done things that you didn't want them to do, but you really can't help what's happened. And you're kind of in a phase where, like, yeah, you've been in that rut, you felt the sadness, like you felt the pain because maybe you didn't deserve what happened, or maybe things have happened to you that you haven't deserved. But you're now coming into a phase where you're realizing, like, okay, I can either sit in this pain and I can be miserable, and I can take this pain and use it to just be mad at the world, be mad at myself, be mad at everything around me, and to hurt everyone around you. Or you can feel it for what it is, forgive not only the people who have done wrong by you or who have hurt you in some way, but also forgive yourself for parts that you played in it, or for the power that you gave to other people for them to be able to hurt you, and release it so you can move on. And with it being in reverse, it's very representative that you may be in a time of reconciliation, maybe people that you have hurt. You may be in a place of wanting to reconcile with some people, or apologize, or try to just like do something to correct something that a wrong that you made. Or it can also represent other people coming to you who are like, hey, like, we were wrong, or people coming to you wanting to apologize and reconcile. Keep that in mind. It could go both ways. The next card that we have is the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles represents persistent dream in the face of lagging enthusiasm. So this one represents that, like, you may not have like a lot of enthusiasm right now, but you had a dream in the past, maybe a dream that you've always had. It can regard career, family, anything, but it's some kind of dream that you've had. But here lately, maybe you feel like, why have I even given energy to that dream? Like, it feels like it's not what's meant for me. Or maybe you still feel a calling to it in a sense, but you can't understand why. Like, you don't have the enthusiasm to chase it. You don't have the energy where you're like, oh, this is meant for me, I'm going to go get it. You're kind of like, you're just kind of sitting there. You're kind of like, why do I feel like this is what I'm meant to do, but like, I don't want to do it. It's kind of that kind of energy. But you need to understand that, have some patience. Stay committed, have some patience, maybe kind of like write it out. If there's some kind of dream that you've been sticking to, something you've been desiring, something you've been wanting to manifest, and it hasn't manifested, at least not how you've expected it to, don't give up just yet. Kind of just have some patience and see if it comes around the corner, like in the future as you grow. The next card we have is Eight of Swords, which represents a victim mentality, which could also glue into the Three of Swords being in reverse. And the Three of Wands being in reverse, where it basically represents you've had some hurdles and obstacles, and it feels like just things keep going wrong, or you're just like being tested every single second of the day. The Eight of Swords represents a victim mentality. That could be the key to what you need to fix right now to kind of ground yourself and balance into your true energy. The victim mentality, as humans, we all tend to get stuck in it. Sometimes it is very normal to feel a victim mentality when you're going through a hard time. You want sympathy, you want people to, or you want someone to come fix it. Like, you want someone to just go, oh my goodness, that happened to you, I'm sorry, boop, and it's golden, back to normal. That's not reality. That's not how life works. Especially with the cards, with the devil and the death. If you've been deceiving people and you've been doing things wrong by people, if you are addicted to any substances, if you're struggling with addiction, you've manifested what's coming in, what's going on right now in your reality. You've manifested yourself. And the quicker you look at it that way, and you change your perspective, and you realize that you are in full control of your reality and creating the reality you want, you're in full control of being who you want to be in life, it'll help you kind of release that victim mindset and come back into control and say, oh, I have an option here. Like, maybe this situation that I'm in sucks, maybe where I am sucks, but I have a choice. I can either sit and cry about it and blame everyone around me, even though I've made majority of the decisions that got me here. Like, I'm responsible for being where I am because I could have made different choices in the past, but chose not to. Or you can just sit and be like, pity me, and just sit and be miserable. Or you can get up and you can make changes and you can face who you are. You can look at the bigger picture. You can hold yourself accountable. You can be responsible, and you can say, okay, like, this didn't happen to me. I allowed this to happen. I manifested this to happen because of the choices I made as a human, the things that I've done to people. I manifested this into my life. Let me do what I need to do to fix it and to be better. The next card that we have is the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is in reverse. With the Ace of Swords, like I said, aces are very representative of hope and new beginnings. Ace of Swords represents determination and resolve through bold action, but in reverse, it represents clouded judgment and sudden change of direction. So, your judgment right now with the whole situation, anything you're going through in life, whatever's going on for you, your judgment is very clouded. You may be feeling like almost like a fog over you, where you may be kind of like, no, I don't want to say bipolar, but like you feel bipolar, where you're like, you keep going back and forth. You're like, who you want to be, who you've been, and who you are. Who you want to be, who you've been, and who you are, like, or who you've been in the past and where it's gotten you. Like, you're kind of just like going back and forth. You don't trust your own judgment, and it could be clouded by people around you. It could be clouded by family members, coworkers, friends, people you spend time with. You need to be very observant of the company you keep around you, because who you surround yourself with is who you become. Who you surround yourself with is who you become. Pay attention to who's around you. Pay attention to what you're absorbing, whose projections, whose judgments, whose opinions you're absorbing, why it's having such an effect on you. Because you may be leaning towards doing something better for yourself, and then you have these people who don't want you to grow and evolve because then they don't benefit from you anymore. So they're trying to hold you back with their opinions and their judgments and their projections of like, why would you do that? Why are you doing that? That's weird. Don't do that. You need to keep doing what you're doing. Stuff like that. You need to pay attention to that, because right now, for some reason, you're very clouded. There are some other people in your energy field, whether it be thoughts or feelings or beliefs of other people that they've projected onto you and you've absorbed. Right now, maybe you could do an egg cleanse. Egg cleanses are very beneficial. If you've never done an egg cleanse, you can look it up. If you have questions, find me on Insta or Facebook, and you can message me, and I can help you. I can help explain it to you the best that I can. I do egg cleanses every 2 days. Every 2 days, I do egg cleanses. It is a consistent practice of mine. Hey, calm down, girls. If you don't do an egg cleanse, you can sage. You can smudge your home. You can sage yourself, incense. Clean the energy in the spaces that you spend a lot of your time in. Get rid of any energy that is not yours. It can help you kind of clear your head, especially on whatever situation you're going through right now. The next card that we have is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is in reverse as well. With the Queen of Wands being in reverse, it represents impatient, demanding, and can be unreasonable. So right now, with this clouded judgment and this awakening that you're going through, and you're really just being forced to see yourself for who you are and like who you've been, with the Queen of Wands in reverse, you're being very impatient. You want to be healed and be better, but you are realizing that the only way to get there is by doing the actual hard inner work every single day, by choosing to show up as a better person than who you've shown up as in the past, by choosing to every day consciously and presently make better choices and break cycles that you've continuously chosen to continue. And with the Queen of Wands also, you may be very demanding of others. You may be like, okay, like I looked in the mirror, I see what I've done, now I need this, do this for me, you owe me this, like I've done this. Or you may just be like, you're embarrassed of who you've been or what you've done, and you're really just like, you want to get away from it and run from it. That is a cycle to break. That could be a big cycle that you struggle with as just in general. That could also go back to substances if you struggle with addiction or abusing any substances. The Queen of Wands in reverse, with that being like you being unreasonable and impatient and demanding, that could be very significant, and it can represent a cycle that you struggle with in a sense. Maybe that's something that you suppress. It's like you don't know how to face yourself. You don't know how to hold yourself accountable. You don't know how to get past the shame, embarrassment, and disappointment into forgiving yourself and growing. Hey, kind. Thank you. But that's a part of the growing, and that may be a habit that you have where usually when you get to that part of embarrassment or kind of just, you feel like you face the music by knowing what you did, but instead of actually doing the work to be better and letting people see you do the change, you instead continuously choose to go with the devil on your shoulder, and you continue to keep hurting people you're being called to break. The next card we have is the Temperance card. Temperance is always representative of balance. Balance is healthy to have in life no matter what. Look at your sleep habits, look at your diet habits, look at your work and play habits, look at, hello, can you guys just chill? Can we stop wrestling? Go down. Thank you, Mama. But balance is very good for you and your well-being, both mentally and physically. Make sure you're sleeping. Make sure you're keeping yourself on a healthy routine of sleep. Make sure you eat. Make sure you're eating 3 meals a day how you're supposed to. You need to stay hydrated. You need to take care of your physical and your mental. You need to make sure that you're allowing yourself to rest just as equivalent as you are pushing yourself to do the work that you need to do in life. Rest is productive. The last card that we drew is the Empress card. This card represents, girl, you got nasty ass breath. This represents the Earth Mother. This represents femininity, abundance, nature, nurture, beauty, motherhood, and prosperity. So the Empress is just, it represents an energy, and even if you're a man and this reading resonates with you, don't be weird about like the word femininity or motherhood or something. This can still partake to a male, even though it represents femininity. Every single human being is half masculine, half feminine. And the trick to peace and happiness is balance, learning to balance them, learning to balance when you rest and when you get up and go, when you rest and when you do the work or get work done. Like it's balance. Balance is healthy. And with the Empress, this is a sign that you're coming into a phase where you're going to learn that you are worthy of the balance. You are worthy of the rest. You are worthy of all the success that is meant to come to you. You're worthy of all the happiness and the peace that you want in your life. But the lesson of what you're going through right now is that the only person that can get you there is you. The only person that can change what you've been doing and what you keep choosing to do is you. The only person that can remove the habits and the choices or the vices or anything that holds you back from your potential is you. You can't blame anyone but yourself for the choices you've made and for where you are in life right now in this present moment. Even if you have been traumatized in your childhood or in your past, or if you have been hurt or wounded by somebody, you choose what you do with that. Especially if trauma was done in your childhood. Childhood trauma, you can't control. What's done to you as a child is never okay, especially when it comes to trauma, because the adults in your childhood have the responsibility of protecting you, taking care of you, and giving you everything you deserve, both materialistically and mentally. Like, all of it. But you are responsible for healing those wounds. Even if, like, it wasn't okay. Now that if you're an adult now, like, once you're an adult, you have to get up and just take advantage and take control of your life, take back control and say, hey, that's not who I am. They did what they did, but now it's my turn to be who I want to be and continue growing myself how I deserve to grow. If anyone's hurt you in adulthood or anything, you really just need to look at bigger pictures of like how you've played in it, or maybe if you've hurt that person as well. Like, did they really hurt you? Or like, was it provoked? Did you do something to them first? That still doesn't make necessarily what they did okay, but look at the bigger picture and try to find some forgiveness and try to release it so you can heal and move forward. Try your best to let go of this victim mindset. Like, you gotta let go of it. You've gotta let go of it. I will see if there's any other cards that need to be pulled. Okay, we got the Tower moment. This is representative of you're having a huge Tower moment right now. Tower moments mean that basically whatever reality you knew to be as your reality in the past is now being completely shattered. Completely shattered. Whatever you've known in the past, whatever used to be your safety or whatever you felt like was real and was the world you were living in, you're now realizing like all of that was not what it was. Like, it's gone. It's gone. That whole reality you were living in is now gone. It's dissolving and you're moving into a new reality. And the trick with this, in this moment of time or in these situations, because we go through several Tower moments our whole lives. Everyone does. We always have Tower moments. We have times of sudden change. We have times of sudden upheaval where it feels like everything's going wrong and everything that we knew is changing or leaving or disappearing. That's a part of life. It's a cycle of life. We all go through it. women, make sure you're taking care of yourself and doing what's best for you. The last card that I just drew is the Six of Pentacles, and it represents help or assistance to those who need it. This card can represent either you may need some help right now. It could be materialistically, or it could just be like physical help, like with your mental or things around you that you just need help with, or it could be mental help. This is a time where help may be coming to you, and that means that you could be getting some financial help. You could be getting some help with just physical things, like people helping you around your house, or things that need to get done that you're struggling with, or it could be mental help. You could be moving into a phase of maybe looking into therapy or a psychiatrist maybe, or other mental health practices. There's other ways. It's a time that help could be coming to you, or it's a time that you could be helping others, that you could be moving from this phase of hurting people and realizing that you also have the opportunity. You can either take who you are and everything you are and use it to hurt people, or you can use it to help people. And then this may be a time where you're choosing to maybe help others. Instead of the help coming to you, you may be the one that wants to help for a change. Instead of hurting and being selfish, you may want to go help people who are hurting, and that could be a great thing too. So it could be either one. The next card that we have is the High Priestess, and it came out in reverse. And the High Priestess in reverse represents secrets, deliberate ignorance, disconnected from self. So you may be keeping secrets from people. Could be anyone. Could be family members, coworkers, friends, acquaintances, random people, someone you're married to in a relationship with. You may have some secrets that you've been keeping. No matter what they regard to or what they are, no matter how little they are, how big they are. It could have to do with addiction. It could have to do with anything really. If you have been keeping secrets from somebody close to you or from those who love you because maybe you're ashamed, or maybe you don't want to be held accountable for who you really are, or who you've been, or who you've chosen to be, the only person that can change that is you truly. And with those secrets, you're kind of deliberately choosing to be ignorant and choosing to just keep yourself in this cycle. Like, you're choosing to be ignorant enough to just continue what you're doing, rather than just being honest and truthful and self-aware and be who you are meant to be and face the music of who you've been. So whatever secrets you're keeping, keep that in mind. If you are keeping secrets, they may be coming to light soon. The next card that came out, this one came out actually very quickly. It's the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands represents creativity, enthusiasm, courage, and confidence. So this could be a time where like your creativity comes back to you, and you could be having like a lot more confidence and courage and enthusiasm in what you're doing and what you're working on and what you're building in your life. So that may be a sign that like a lot of that nasty energy of not having motivation or enthusiasm, it could be going away and it could be coming back. Like, you could be refueling, especially if you're doing the change to make these changes and fix what needs to be fixed and become a better self. That energy is slowly going to come back to you. The next card was the Chariot. It came in reverse. It represents opposition, inertia, procrastination, delays, and unfairness. This could also represent you being opposing to others, or you trying to oppress people. It could represent you choosing to procrastinate because of your own shame and guilt or whatever. And it could also represent unfairness, where you're being unfair to others out of your own pain and out of your own hurt. You're wanting to hurt other people in a sense. The last card we have is the Hierophant, and this one represents spiritual authority, holder of faith and traditions, revealer of the sacred. It represents tradition, education, conformity, group identity, and spiritual intermediary. This card represents, basically the way I like to look at it, is religion and spirituality. This card calls you to look at your beliefs and your morals and make sure you align with what you truly wholeheartedly believe in. And that also means you could be having some trouble with having confidence in your beliefs, because they may not be the same as those around you, or specifically people in your family or your bloodline, because usually when it comes to religious beliefs or like morals and beliefs in general, when it comes to the bloodline, the family line, it's really not be conformed into that bloodline. Like if you have different beliefs, it's hard to step away and be like, hey, yeah, you're my family, I love you, but I don't believe in what you believe in. I don't believe in doing what you believe in doing. I have different beliefs. If you are like in a position where you have different beliefs than those around you, really just take some time to meditate on it and to really understand and realize like what beliefs you have, what morals you have, and be confident in them. Even if it's like not what your family agrees with or whoever around you agrees with, there's nothing wrong with that. You're allowed to believe what you believe. You can have whatever religion you have. You can believe in whatever belief. Please keep that in mind. Also remember not to let other people get power over your brain. You don't have to conform to others to be accepted. You're allowed to have your own thoughts. You're allowed to have your own beliefs. You're allowed to have your own morals that differ from other people, and you're allowed to have your own opinions even. So if you are maybe exploring spirituality or exploring different religions or exploring whatever religion that you are a part of, and you're wanting to explore it a little differently than the people around you have in the past, you have every right to do that, no matter who agrees with you or not. So please keep that in mind. The moral of this the center of this whole reading, in my opinion, is just you are in a time of healing and transmutation. You're in a time of healing and becoming who you're meant to be. And you're in a time of where successes and victory are going to be coming to you, and you have the energy to bring them in and to go after them. But you also need to be accountable and responsible and hold yourself responsible and face the music of what you've done and who you've been in the past. Don't be ashamed. If you are ashamed, that's normal, but you have to hold yourself accountable and face who you've been and really just face the consequences. Whoever this resonates with, if you're open to giving me some feedback, I love feedback, truly. If this does resonate with you and you're interested in a private tarot or oracle reading to give you a little more insight, guidance, or clarity, find me on Instagram or Facebook, shoot me a message, and I'll do a reading for you. They're free. Other than that, I hope you take care of yourselves. I hope you have a great day. It's a new moon. Remember you can charge your crystals. I don't charge my crystals on full moons. I charge them on new moons, but that's in my own practice. You can do whatever works best for you. If you have crystals, you can make moon water. If you use filtered water, you can drink it to bring the energy into your system and into your energy field and into your life. You can also deep clean your home, any spaces that you spend a lot of time in. It gets rid of energy. You can burn sage to smudge the areas. You can also I do our beddings. Every new moon and full moon, I wash our beddings. It just gets rid of the energy from sleep and stuff. You can also pick up new practices, like try journaling, try meditating, try exercising more, look at your habits, make sure you're taking care of yourself. I hope you guys have a great day, and if you need me, just message me. I will see y'all on the next full moon.